But across the north of England, there existed an alternative club circuit for artists with less international acclaim.
Take it easy, please! Don't push!
Northern Soul prized obscure singers who'd never escaped the regional circuits back home and were brought over to a hero's welcome inside our decaying provincial theatres.
I was informed that some of the songs that I had long forgotten about that I had made were being played by a northern soul scene in the northern part of the Midlands of England. And I said, well, seeing is believing. I really couldn't understand or comprehend what was being told me. I actually had to see it. And when I saw it for myself, I said, hey, these folks are committed.
She stands 5 feet tall and 1/4. She weighs 122 and a half. She's got good things and good order. There's not a good thing she don't have.
These all-nighters would flourish throughout the 70s, dedicated to collecting and curating rare American soul.
Because I wanna be.
These records were often reissued and bootlegged. They wanted an original. They wanted a record that was so rare. A bit like you would buy a Mona Lisa if you were an art collector, but you wouldn't want a reproduction one hanging on your wall. People didn't want a record that was reissued. They wanted the original American issue that was so rare. So they made enormous personal sacrifices to get them. They gave the music a new identity. The artists that made them never dreamt there'd be thousands of people in the north of England, thousands of miles away, dancing to them on a dance floor in cool fashions and really into the music. It became a mind-blowing cult.
So now take away these chains that are binding me, because I wanna be.
Northern Soul offered white working-class fans what the rest of life denied them.
You get away from the rest of the world, you get away from your week's work. You're in your own little world, You're not dancing with a girl, you're not dancing to show off. Again, some folk do it, but you're just shutting yourself off. The rigor gets into you and you just let go. It's pure escapism.
So everything is orchestrally hammering out this beat that makes you feel good, and the reason it makes you feel good is because the musical chords behind the beat are giving you a very wistful, optimistic, uplifting kind of music behind the sledgehammer beat, and therefore creating something quite unique and different. The Northern Soul scene became their religion. They would work in mundane jobs overall, most of the north of England. They were working in factories, and they were working in laundrettes and things, living for the weekend, saving their money up for the week, doing nothing, not even going out during the week. It was like a metamorphosis, like a Jekyll and Hyde, almost schizophrenic life, where your Saturday night was so different to the rest of your week.
So from now on, I've got to tell you, boy, I'm gonna take it kind of slow.
That was the whole reason for putting up with the mundaneness of factories in Wigan and Accrington and Oldham and all these miserable, dreary places.
The all-nighters offered soul addicts the chance to dance the night away. But this was black music driving a white scene. Their new black neighbours weren't exactly welcome.
Northern Soul. There ain't a black person there. I remember trying to go up north and be involved in these parties and stuff like that. But you just really wasn't welcomed. And I think, again, down south, it was a little bit more of a melting pot type scenario. And really and truly, as I think about it now, shit, it's a good thing I didn't get into them clubs.
Northern Soul also reflected the fragmentation and divisions in society. Black British citizens, many of them second generation, felt increasingly like outsiders and threatened by soapbox rhetoric seemingly designed to encourage racial hate.
We have to think of towns and cities where the immigrants and their offspring will overwhelmingly be concentrated. In these areas, the character of the country will have changed beyond recognition. And by their change, the character of England itself will be changed.
Jamaican ska and rude boy style had attracted a mod army in the early 60s, but now it was adopted by a new working class tribe, the skinheads. Forged from black American R&B, ska was soul music with a Caribbean rhythm.
Ska was basically a slight change from the R&B rhythm. You know, they wanted to get something that was more lively. So what they did with the ska, they took the backbeat out and they went. So it's a very subtle difference, but it was enough to send the dance floors crazy.
So you had all these white kids in northwest London, where I was living, going around, you know, singing these songs in broad Jamaican accents, you know. So contrary to the belief that, you know, that whole skinhead thing was racist, these kids were the first ones, I think, and the mods before them perhaps, to really integrate with black kids.
Those in the media that didn't like the fact that there were young white kids who were affiliating with black kids or taking on black culture. I mean, you know, the likes of Enoch Powell and them would have seen that as a major takeover of this culture by that culture, as opposed to a merger.
It's always struck me as really funny that the first truly multiracial young English kids were the young mods and skinheads who got this reputation for racism. And yet they weren't. They were the ones who were taking all that stuff. They were dancing to ska records. They were dressing like young Caribbeans. They were the ones who absorbed all of that. They went to schools where half the kids were black. Football was absolutely essential to all of this. And going to football was pledging your allegiance in many ways. But it was also like going to a nightclub. It was another arena. It was another place where you could dress up. Don't forget, these were big open terraces. You could parade along. So when you went to football, you dressed.
This new fusion of white working class style and reggae music spread like wildfire across football terraces and fairgrounds.
We listened exclusively to reggae, and you couldn't buy any of these records in the average record shop. You know, there was none of them in the charts. And I remember, like, I was on the bus with a friend, and like we were talking, and somebody was saying, "Oh yeah, I've got all the records in the charts," and someone else went, "There's no good records in the charts." 16 was the age for what the media would call skinheads. I mean, we didn't call ourselves skinheads. Early '69, I saw kids, the really coolest kids, had their hair shaved almost completely off, or bald. Very neat, collegiate, Ivy League, college look, American college boy look. We dressed for each other, not even for the girls. Not even for the girls, a little bit for the girls, but for each other. And it was a very, very snobby attitude. You know, it was a lifestyle. It wasn't just wearing clothes, it was a lifestyle. This is your life.
Whatever that love affair is between white working class youths and soul music and reggae music and clothes and fashion, it's very unique to this island. A little white English person, why do you relate to reggae? I don't know, you know what I mean? But we all do. It goes beyond the sound. It's something that really reaches inside there, which you don't know why. It just connects with you.
When Bob Marley and the Wailers first appeared on the BBC, few of their new fans realised how much this brand of reggae owed to American soul.
Since I've got you on my mind.
The Wailers would listen to the radio. They would listen to the R&B that was being played over the radio, and it obviously influenced a lot of their music. The Wailers would be listening to people like the Drifters, and they looked at Curtis Mayfield and the Impressions. And that was the basis of their harmony style.